this is Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to my Card Making for Beginners series. Series 2. Series 1 covered a lot of the basics. Series 2 we're covering the basics, some of the basics again, but stepping some of the cards up and also using products that are current so that you'll be able to get your hands on them. Today we are doing what is called a one sheet wonder. And I have the cards in front of me here. So we're not just making one card today. We're going to make 11 from just one sheet of designer series paper. So I've got a 12 by 12 sheet and I'm going to show you how to cut it up to make all these panels to make 11 cards. In fact, you probably, if you cut it a little bit more carefully, you probably could make another one and make a dozen. But they're beautiful cards. I picked out, so I used the Sweet as a Peach, is it called, or You're a Peach paper on these ones, and I picked out 3 colours. So there was Whisper White, of course, but then there was Pear Pizzazz, Calypso Coral and Petal Pink. So I picked out those 3 colours to coordinate. Today I'm going to choose a piece of cardstock from a pack that is available to buy with Stampin' Rewards. So if you spend over £150, you can get this really huge pack. You can see how thick it is, pack of designer series paper. It's called Pattern Party. There's 48 12 by 12 sheets there, and I'm going to use a sheet of that to cut up to make my cards. So here is my sheet of DSP, and I've got a little, it's not a very well drawn template here, but I've got a little template here to help me hopefully cut it. I didn't actually make a note as I did the last set, I just was doing it as I went, and so I've had to go back and do it, sort of back chain, but we'll give it a try. So first of all, I am cutting at 5 centimetres. So I'm cutting a strip of designer series paper at 5 centimetres. I'm then cutting a strip of designer series paper at 3.5 centimetres. Like so. So line that up. And it's very important to get it straight on this paper because it's striped. So if I don't get it exactly straight, it's going to really show. And then I'm going to cut a piece at 10 centimetres. So you can line it up here and here to make sure you've got your paper straight. Then I'm going to cut this piece in half. So about 448 millimetres, 14.8 centimetres. And here I am going to cut another piece at 3.5. And hopefully 2 pieces at 4. Is this going to be the right? Yes, it is just about. It's just a bit thick. So we're going to do 4. That one's a little bit wider than 4, but I don't think it will matter. And then I've got this piece, and I'm going to cut this. 50, that's 7.5-ish. Hoping this is going to work. Right, so I've got all my pieces there. Some of them need cutting in half. So this one needs cutting in half. So let's just do that. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This one and this one need cutting in half as well. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've got 11 pieces of designer series paper there, cut to different sizes. So you could decide to cut one of these bigger pieces down smaller, and then you could have another one and you could make 12 cards, which my sense of symmetry would approve of. Right, now then, I've got some cardstock here. So the colours that I'm going to pick out of this designer series paper are Mango Melody, so you can see how that goes, Granny Apple Green, so that goes quite well. And Coastal Cabana, one of my favourite colours, like that. So I'm picking out those 3 colours this time. So I've cut some card blanks and I'm just going to score them all. So we're going to score them all at 10.5. So I think I've actually got 12 here, but I only need 11. And then it's just a case of putting all these together. I've actually already die cut the stitched scallop edging that I've used. So on nearly all of the cards I use this stitched scallop edging, which is this die, which is from the, well, it's Hand Penned Petals is the stamp set. I can never remember what the dies are called. I think it's got penned in it. Is it Penned Flowers, I think maybe it's called, the dies. And they're really lovely. And so I've used that scalloped edge. I love it. I've used that quite a lot actually already from that set, more than I've used the other dies. So I've got some, as you see, I've got some in Mango Melody, some in Basic White, some in Granny Apple Green, and some in Coastal Cabana. So this is a really quick method of making a whole pile of cards. You need a whole load of cards quickly. It's a really good way of making them. And the designer series paper really does all the work for you. And the sentiments that I used are from the Vine Design stamp set. Now that is going to be, where are we today when this is going? I'm just trying to work out when this video is going out. It's going out on the 29th, so that stamp set will only be available for today and tomorrow. So it will stop being available about 11 o'clock on the 30th of June in the evening. So if you want Vine Design, and it is on offer at the moment, it's discounted. Got the set here, but it's got some lovely sentiments in it. These are great, and I think it's worth buying the set just for those sentiments. And I'm using a selection of those for my cards today. Right, I'm going to grab my bone folder. All of these need burnishing, and then we can start sticking. I may not make up all of these on video today. They're all very similar, so once I've shown you the technique for making a few of them, then I might leave you to go off and do your own thing. And the joy of this is you can of course use any designer series paper that you've got. Hopefully you might have some coordinating cardstock. If you haven't got a scallop stitched edge border, you could just use straight pieces of card. You could just use edging like I've done on a couple of them. Let me just find it. So on this one I've got the scallop edge, but I've just got a straight edge down here, so you could have just 2 straight edges if you don't have a scallop edge die or punch. And then you just need some sentiments and something to mount your sentiments in. If worst came to the worst, you could just stamp your sentiments, cut it into a rectangle, and then do a slightly bigger mat for your rectangle. That would work perfectly well. I'm using the double oval punch today to do my sentiments. I think that's one of the punches that is really worthwhile investing in, because it's so easy to make really lovely sentiment labels with it. Right, that's all my cardstock. So which card should we make first? I'm just going to grab one from the top of the pile. So this is lost my bit of paper here a minute ago. Hang on a sec. Here we go. This is one of the cards. We're going to make this one. So instead of Petal Pink today, I'm using Coastal Cabana. And instead of Calypso Coral, I'm using Granny Apple Green. So I'm going to need a strip of Granny Apple Green. So like I say, I've cut this already. I need a strip of designer series paper, and I think this is the 3.5 centimetre one. Yeah, so I will need one of the thinner panels. Here we go. So this is going to mount on here, like so. So I'm going to take some Tombow. You can notice it's slightly too long. As always, I'm going to just trim that off after I've stuck it on, which will make sure it's really flush with the edges and you don't get any Doesn't look like it's been stuck on. It doesn't look like it's handmade, too handmade. So stick that on there, like so. Oops. And just take some scissors and trim off the edges. This sheet that I'm using has got a lovely reverse side. I love it. I'll show you. This black with the little tiny dots on, so that will get used at some stage. I love it. Like I say, this pack is available to buy if you earn Stampin' rewards from your order. So if you spend over £150, instead of buying a host stamp set, you can buy this set of designer series paper. Right, that is going down there, so I'm going to have a scalloped edge down there. So like I say, any border that you've got would work. You might have a different border punch or another border, or like I say, you could just use a straight line of card. There we go. Let's make sure that's, so you can butt it up against the designer series paper, so it kind of looks like you've layered it, but actually you haven't wasted all that cardstock underneath. And again, just trim off where it overhangs, just a tiny bit there, like so. Now on the other one, I put another strip down there. Haven't actually cut that yet, so I'm going to take a piece of Whisper White, take my little, actually no, I'll do it on the proper trimmer because you may not have one of those little trimmers, so I'll show you how to do it on here. So you just need to line up your cardstock, and just probably about 3mm wide you want your piece of cardstock. So I'm measuring it against this scale on the right of the cutting channel. And there we go. I've got a lovely little strip of card. These are fun colours, aren't they? This reminds me of a sort of circus, really. Quite fun. There we go. Oh, that's not long enough. I'll have to do that again and find a longer piece. Let's find a longer piece of... Yep, I'll have to do that again. Didn't realise that cardstock wasn't quite long enough. So let's try that again. Again, line it up at about 3mm, 3 or 4mm. Yeah, that's slightly, I did that at 4, it's slightly thicker. Doesn't matter in the least. And so that is going to go along there. I do like Coastal Cabana and Granny Apple Green together. There we go. I use Granny Apple Green an awful lot. I know some people don't like it at all, but it's one of my favourites, as is Coastal Cabana. Probably Coastal Cabana would be my, if I had to name one favourite, it would be Coastal Cabana. Granny Apple Green would be in the next pile, beyond that. Right, okay, so we've done that. What happened to my card that we, so here's the card that we're emulating. So we need a the shadow mat, the background, the scalloped mat out of Granny Apple Green. And we need a sentiment. So I'm going to do Happy Birthday today. So I've got Happy Birthday, and I'm going to do it in Granny Apple Green because that's what I did here. I did all the, so I'm linking in the colours. You can see how different these look just by using different DSP and choosing the colours that go in that DSP. So you can get whatever look you want. You could use some male DSP and get a whole set of male cards. These ones I think are going to be very good for children. So I've done this on a long thin piece of card because I don't want to waste any. So by doing that, I can just feed that in, can line it up, and punch, and then that just goes on there. But you can mix and match up your colours. So if you wanted to use different colour ink on this, feel free. You can mix and match as much as you like. Yeah, I think if you wanted to make these cards, I would say that buying the oval punch would be a really good buy, and actually for the sentiments, the Vine Design set I think is great, and that's going to go on there on a couple of the dimensionals. so let's find my dimensionals. Oh, where are the big ones? Getting a bit shorter dimensionals in here actually, or the big ones. I've been tending to use the big ones more than the small ones recently. Goes through phases. Right, let's see if we can get that one that was trying to escape. That one. I think some of these are an edge piece. I might just use a couple of little pieces either side, like so. Oops, got one trying to attack me here. Stick. Oh, doesn't want to go down. Go. They're so sticky you can't get them off anywhere. Go, 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 go. There we go. Right. They do their job. There we go. Right. And that one. And then that's a card made. Like so. So they look very different, but they're done exactly the same way. Just different colour scheme, different DSP. Right, let's try another one. Let's try this one. So this is made with using a Whisper White, a basic white, still want to call it basic white, piece of cardstock. Oh, that card blank is not very straight. Can you see how it's not lined up very well? So what I will do is I will go and chop it. That sometimes happens if you're not quite accurate with, oh, that didn't cut very well, not quite accurate with your folding, your scoring, but you can just do this, trim off all the odd edges, and then you might end up with a slightly smaller card blank, but all the edges are really flush, so that's good. There we go. So we need a bigger piece of cards of DSP now. So we need one of the panels that is going to cover about half. So not the great big one that covers the whole of the card. We need one of those. That's the one. So we're going to use that. Where did my card go? Let me see. Oops. Okay, we'll do this one. Oh no, not that one, because I want it on white. Where did I put it? There it goes. There we are. Right, okay. So I'm going to just trim off a little bit of this because it's just a little bit too wide. So I've got stripes. I know exactly where to trim it. I do love this paper. I'm a sucker for a rainbow and a sucker for stripes, and so this paper ticks all the boxes for me. The peach paper is very pretty though, and I think I've said on a video before, I've seen so many gorgeous projects made with that peach set that it's the next on my wish list. There we go. Right, so again, if you push it down at the bottom, you should be able to even that bottom up so it doesn't overhang. And then you can just trim off the edges here, like so. And then I think we'll use Coastal Cabana this time. So I need a piece of Coastal Cabana. Oh, that piece is quite a lot bigger there, isn't it? Actually, I hadn't noticed that. Probably used the wrong bit, but I'm just going to show you that it doesn't really matter. You can mix and match. So I'm going to use a bit of Coastal Cabana, just trim off a little bit. So I hope you can see how quick, once you've got all these bits assembled, how quick it will be to make all of these cards. This is a really useful method. For example, when I'm making customer thank you cards, it's a really useful way to get those done, because sometimes I have a lot, which is great because I love having customers, but it does take a long time now to make all the thank yous. Right, okay, so we need Coastal Cabana background. Like so, and I'm going to use, what am I going to use? Thank you. I think I'm going to use thank you this time. So I'm going to use Coastal Cabana. Should I use Coastal Cabana? No, I'll use Granny Apple Green. again, just pick out one of the other colours in the paper. There we go. And the punch again, just feed it through, line it up, make sure it's straight, and punch. That gets glued on there. And just try and the Tombow will give you a little bit of wiggle room, and then that's just going up there. Just a very sweet little card. Right, there's my sticky one that wanted to get away last time. Let's just wanted to get that bit off. Got some very small little bits here that I want to use up. Never waste any. There we go, that's enough on there. Just use all the little bits and pieces up of your dimensional sheets, don't waste any. I once had one of my customers that didn't realise you could use all the edging, so she was throwing that bit. We're using all the ones that were cut up and then throwing the edging away, and I was like, no, you can get so many more bits of dimensionals out of those. There. So very similar, slightly smaller piece of DSP I've used there, but that doesn't matter. Okay, let's have a look through our previous pack and see which ones we haven't made. So we've made that one, we've made that one, we've made that one, we've made that one. This one is very similar to the other one we've made, except I've buttered up. It's a wider strip of DSP and I've buttered it up against the side of the card rather than putting an extra strip down there. Ah, that one, we'll have a go at that one in a minute. Let's do that one. So we're going to start with a base of Mango Melody. There we go. So we're going to start with that, and we're going to start with a piece of cardstock. Not that one, not that one, not that one. Okay, we're going to use one of these pieces. Right, the right width, yes, that's right. So we're going to do that there. So we're going to trim that off. So this is going across the middle of the card. So like I said, you do get some little bits of DSP left over. So if you cut the paper a bit more, if you thought about it a bit more, you might be able to cut so that you can get another card and get 12 cards. There we go. So let's use my grid paper to line it up, and then I can tell whether I've got that in straight. That's what the grid paper is really brilliant for. And let's just trim off here and here. There we go. And then what colour should we do here? We can either do Coastal Cabana, or we could do Granny Apple Green. I'm going to go with Coastal Cabana. I know it's a bit of a clash, but it does pick out the colours in the paper, and it's just quite fun, I think. There we go. Like so. And another little bit of Coastal Cabana. So we've got one at the top and one at the bottom this time. Oh, it's very sort of fiesta-y like, this card, isn't it, don't you think? Sort of reminds me of a Mexican celebration. Just all the colours together. There we go. And then, what should we make? Should we make this one a hello card? It's come off. Obviously didn't leave long enough for the glue to dry, so don't do what I do do what I say. Leave it for a little while to dry before you try and do this. I'm just doing it as I go because I'm on camera. I would normally leave them a bit longer before I trim them. Right, okay. And then we need another Coastal Cabana scalloped mat from the double oval punch. And we will do Hello. And we will do it in Mango Melody this time. We'll link it in with... no, we won't. We'll do it in Granny Apple Green. Changed my mind. Which you can do as you do this. Really doesn't matter. You mess about with any combinations that you like. Of course, you can pick out more colours in your DSP and use more different colours if you like. I found it quite helpful to limit it. There we go. There we go. And that is just going to pop in the middle there. Just a nice little card there. There we go. And just need some more dimensionals. I'm going to just about have used up this scrappy little sheet today. One there, one there, one there, one there. And I'm just going to use this last little bit in the middle. There we go, and that sheet is gone. And that is going to go on there. I think we've got at least one other design to show you how I made it. Might be two other designs. There we go. That pops in there. So where did we get to? These are all my samples. So I've talked about that one. We did that one. We did that one. We did that one. We've done that one. Haven't done that one. Done that one, done that one. Oh, those are the ones that we haven't done. Just one more design. So this one uses a whole, so it's similar design, both cards, uses a whole panel of DSP. So that was why we had those two big panels from the start. They're slightly too big for our cards at the minute. So we need to decide what colour card we're going to put them on. So should we put them on Granny Apple Green? We haven't used a Granny Apple Green one yet, so we'll use that. And we just need to cut them down. Now my card blank should be 10.5 by 15. 10.5 centimetres by just under 15, 148. So I can either measure this and cut it down, or I can put it on here. These are the borders I want, and then I can just mark the other side so that it's got an equidistant border, so it's going to be there, and then the same down the bottom, and then I can just trim up to my pencil marks. That's what I tend to do. I don't tend to measure. I tend to use pencil marks to mark, but it's perfectly feasible to measure. There isn't a right way or a wrong way, so if you would rather measure and use that way, that's perfectly fine. So now my piece of DSP measures just 9.6, so it's going to be nearly a centimetre smaller, and 14, yeah. So it's about, my borders are going to be about 0.4 of a centimetre all the way around. I wanted them to be quite chunky borders, so like there. I'm just going to rub it, just see my pencil mark there, so I'm just going to rub that out, and then I'm going to mount this. Tombo's flowing really nicely today. It's not blobbing out, so I don't really need to do too much spreading of it. Sometimes it comes out really thickly, and I find I need to spread it out with a cocktail stick or a toothpick. There we go. And then we're just going to put across here. I've cut this wider, so I've used the same scallop die, but I've put it there and I've cut it further up so that it's thicker. So that's going to go there. So I can just trim off the edges here. We don't need all those. Oh, I've got lots and lots of bits sticking to my scissors there. So there we go. So this is a really, really great technique, this One Sheet Wonder, for a beginner card maker. Like I say, especially if you've got a lot of cards to make. Be great for Christmas cards. Great technique to just use a sheet of Christmas DSP and some appropriate Christmas sentiments and just make a whole pile of Christmas cards. Would be fantastic. Right, so I'm just going to trim that. Again, it's not properly stuck yet. Just takes a minute for the Tombow to grab. So there. And then in the middle there, we need another scallop. So we're going to use, I'm going to use Mango Melody, I think. I can find a piece of Mango Melody cardstock to punch it out of. Here we go. And then another little piece of white cardstock, and we'll do, I'm going to do another, I'm going to do Thank You. I'm going to clean that because I can't remember what colour I used it on. And just so that I've used all the colours on this card, I'm going to do it in Coastal Cabana. Like so. Oh, doesn't want to close. There we go. Right, and again, just line up. And punch. And that's just going to mount on there. Such fun little cards. And I'm now going to have to grab some more dimensionals. I used up my strip. So let's see what we've got in here. Oh, there we go. That's a big sheet. There we go. So one there, one there, one there, one there. There, and that's all the design. So there's different colour schemes, different colour combinations, but basically all the same designs. And if you cut your DSP like I showed you at the beginning, you should be able to get at least 11 cards out of your one strip, one sheet of DSP. So those are my cards that we've made today. Absolutely lovely, loving those colours, love those bright combinations. And I hope you've enjoyed seeing that today. I'm going to have a nice time now. I'm going to sit and I'm going to make up the others in the set. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed that. All the items are for sale in my shop if you want to pop down. Don't forget that if you want these sentiments, which are really lovely, you need to buy them by the end of the 30th of June, because otherwise that set will no longer be available. But that's it from me today. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon. If you haven't already subscribed, please press the subscribe button. That'd be great. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.